Good afternoon, my name is Terrell Henry. This will be oral template number 3. Today we have chapter 1 of A Changing Planet. For our very first section, I have the main point as Earth started with the Big Bang and Earth has changed from the beginning of times, and that Earth will continue to change. So just to go in depth a little bit about that, Earth has definitely changed from, the beginning times, and Earth will continue to change. But how us humans have an effect on Earth will depend on the type of change Earth has. Earth can have a positive change in the next 20, 30 years, or Earth can have a negative change in the next 20 or 30 years. It all depends on how us humans take care of Earth and how and the use of fossil fuels. So I think that if we as humans take care of the planet and limit the use of fossil fuels and just clean up the environment and different things of that, I think that Earth in 20 years, I think we'll see a dramatic great change. I think the air will be as great as ever and just different things like that, where I feel like if we continue at the rate we're at right now, in 20 to 30 years, I think Earth will, I won't say it'll be uninhabitable, but I will say that you'll start to see just, different type of air levels that are going down and more pollution and things like that. And I think that for us humans, for the human race to survive, I think we need to take better care of Earth, and I think that starts now. I think the more we take care of Earth, the longer Earth will be here and the longer Earth will be inhabitable. So I think we as humans, we all could, step up, help the environment if we want Earth to be here as long as possible. So for the next section, I have evolution of Earth's atmosphere. And for that one, I have the history of Earth and the atmosphere are connected. So I put that because if you look back at the beginning of times, that Earth, its oxygen levels, it was uninhabitable for the early life. And the early life, and you look now, fast forward to today, oxygen, it's kind of what we need. So I think that just showing that Earth and the atmosphere are connected, you look at the great I can't remember how to pronounce it, the great oxidation, I believe it is, the great oxidation, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it was about, I think it was like 500 million years ago. You've seen oxygen in several different, percentages of the atmosphere. And I think that for Earth and the atmosphere, that it has definitely changed. As like I said, the oxygen used to not be inhabitable for the early life, where now it is. For the next one, I'm gonna have, it just goes right along with the other section, aerobic life, and I have that life and the atmosphere connected. And I'm gonna go back to the point I just made about how oxygen was not inhabitable for the early life stages, and you look now and oxygen is, in metabolism and different things like that. Oxygen is what keeps us going. So I just see how life and the atmosphere are connected, as the atmosphere is what keeps us alive. As whenever the oxygen levels were bad for the early life, nothing was able to survive, where now the atmosphere is great and oxygen's good, and it's what keeps us alive. For the next section, I have Earth's climate. For the next section is Earth's changing climate. And for that section, I have Earth's climate has been changing. And I'll get into a figure later in the video, but I actually found it very interesting that, even with global warming increasing, it actually showed that the Earth is actually getting cooler than it was at beginning times. And I actually found that very interesting because, that's all you hear about is global warming now and how the Earth is getting hotter. And although that is true that the Earth is, that we're seeing like in the increase in temperatures and things like that, I found it very interesting that the Earth is actually cooler than whenever, I believe it was, when I say that figure showed, I think it was 19 something, and I think it was like 1960 maybe, that it's actually way cooler. And that was just very interesting to me because, like I said, all you hear about is global warming, about how the Earth is warming, and it actually seems that that's not true. Even though the temperatures are increased and the sun's output is increased, the Earth is actually cooling. I found that very interesting. And then for the next section, I have Earth's energy endowment. And I have, for that main point, is Earth has many natural forms of gaining energy. And for that, I have a great point is photosynthesis. Um, Photosynthesis has been here for many years where, um, you know, plants, taking in the sunlight and able to output some energy. It's just photosynthesis is kind of what I believe every living thing on this planet uses a type of photosynthesis. And although although the living things get it differently, it's all leads back to a form of photosynthesis. So for example, a flower taking in sunlight, giving it energy, it's basically the same thing as us humans taking in food for energy, or animals taking in food for energy. So I think, to me, that is a form of photosynthesis. So for um, for me, that just shows that Earth is naturally had gains energy, and all gaining energy leads back to photosynthesis. And then for the next section, I have the human era. And for that, I actually have the main point as humans make significant use of energy. So, as humans, we use whenever, we kill animals and different things like that, we use that energy for many, many different things. We use the meat, to eat to get energy. We use, depending on the animal you kill, we use their fur to make clothes. We use their fur to make blankets. So I think that just shows that us humans, we use all the parts of the animals. We actually use some of their, I can't remember what it is, but we use it to get a type of oil out of them. So I think that, we have a significant use of all the animals. Okay, and then, so for the entire main idea of the chapter, I actually have that Earth is a planet. I have that Earth is a planet that has been around for a long time. And if we want it to last as long as possible, then us humans, we have to take great care of Earth. And then for my most three important figures, I have that I couldn't figure out how to paste them on here. So I have the figure on page 7, the figure on page 6, and the figure on page 15. the figure on page 6. It's actually on page. It's actually on. Wait, do I have both? Okay, I do have both of them. So I have this one right here on page 6, this bottom one. And that one was just important to me just because it shows, it just shows the timelines of, Earth forming and, the extinction of dinosaurs. And, it just goes back to a billion years ago. I just found that very interesting. And then on page 7, I had this figure down here. And this was actually the figure I was getting into a little bit earlier about how it shows, a billion years ago, how that was the warmest the Earth's ever been. And, if we're going down to present times,